me just say good morning to all of you, and thank you for coming out here. We're at the Melody Ranch, and you will hear a little story about the ranch very soon, so you know a little bit of the history of this place here. This is a place where I usually come out and drive the tank. We just thought that because all of you don't want to sit in a hotel room and blog away, and that you want to do something more exciting. So, and since The Last Stand is an exciting movie, and it's action from the beginning to the end, and we thought that we connected somehow with also a little bit of action here, so you have something more to write about and to report about. But anyway, this is the tank, the M47, which is exactly the very tank that I drove in the Austrian army when I was 18 years old. I went in the army right after school, after trade school. And then I learned how to drive the tank, which was always my fascination, I think, because I grew up after the war and saw the British troops and that occupied the area. So I always wanted to be a tank driver. But anyway, so this is the tank. In 1992, we brought the tank from Austria to the United States when we created Planet Hollywood. And the idea was to create a Planet Hollywood that has military vehicles, and so this would have been one of the military vehicles. That never came about, that particular location in Vegas that we were planning on, and so, but I kept the tank and I kept driving the tank. We use it mostly for you know, taking inner city kids that are very good with that, because as you know, I have a foundation that is dedicated to creating after-school programs all over the United States. And I've been doing this for 20 years. And so we've been using the tank kind of to entice kids, so that when the kids that are staying in after-school programs instead of, you know, roaming around on the streets and getting involved with gangs and drugs and all this, we, you know, want them to stay there in school, and those that stay there, they get kind of like, they can come out and drive the tank with me. On the weekends, they can go and visit movie sets, and they can go skiing with me to Mammoth. We have a ski camp for them there, and all kinds of things, you know, just to show them that if you're good, you will be rewarded for that, you know. So anyway, this is this tank is a patent tank. It's from the 50s. It's more than 50 years old now. It's 66 years actually old. And it still runs well because it's really kept up well. A good team of people, and so anyway, let me just say a few words about The Last Stand. You know, it's coming out on the 18th of January. It's the first movie that I'm starring again since I'm back and from politics. This is the first starring role again, and it's with Kim Jee-woon, who has been a terrific director, who has, you know, his own style of filming, and he is a great action director. He's the big star in Asia, and even though he spoke very little English, we had a very extraordinary communication. He had 2 interpreters there at all times. But I really, and you know, after a week of directing, I didn't even need the interpreters anymore, because I knew exactly what he was talking about. Because even though with little English that he spoke, simply because he's a very animated guy and he acts out the scenes and he jumps in and does the action for you and all this stuff. Even though, you know, he gets injured many times when he tries to do the action because he's not a stunt guy. But I mean, it's funny. He's a very, very funny guy, but at the same time, very serious guy and a very talented guy and all this. And a guy that really can stay within a budget. He's not a crazy guy that, you know, says, okay, we do a $40 million movie, and all of a sudden he comes halfway through and he says, I think I need another $20 million or something like that. So it's none of that. So he did a really terrific job, very cooperative, knowing that he is an Asian and he has to adapt to the American way of movie making. So he never ever was kind of like, no, this is my style, this is the way I want to do it. He was always a collaborative kind of it was a collaborative effort, and he listened to the people from Lionsgate, and he listened to the producer, to Lorenzo Penaventura, who is a terrific producer and has been around, as you know, for a long time. Very talented also and all this stuff. We had a terrific time shooting the movie. It turned out really great, and you know, the test screening went really well. So we're very happy the way things are going. And now the trick is, as with always, with everything, the people need to know about it. And that's where you come in. You see what I'm saying? So this is the key thing, and this is also what I believe in, because there's always, half of it is always doing the project, and the other half is to let the world know that this movie exists and how do you emerge and of all the other movies that are out there, and make sure that people go in to see the movie and enjoy the movie and all that. So again, I want to thank all of you. I'm going to take you around. We're going to fire up the engine. We're going to take you around. Like 4, 5, or 6 at the time. You can stand anywhere you want on the tank, and you also can. The only thing is there are certain hot spots which you would hear about. You know, this is, for instance, the area here that when I was in the army, this is where we cooked. So it gets, as you can see already with the color, it gets very, very hot. So you don't want to touch that. This is where we made steaks. That's where we made fried eggs. This is where we this is where we cooked. We just threw everything right on top of that metal and cooked. We didn't pay much attention to cleanliness, obviously, and all those things. But so you know, but everywhere else you can stand. You just have to be careful in the back here. And so we make a few rounds. And then the next group can jump on it, and make a few rounds. And the next group, you can film each other while you're doing that. And if you want to stop and say, Arnold, here will be a great shot if you do this, you know, and I want to be in front of the tank, we do that. Or if you want to lie down and be driving over you. I know, but this is what we did. And we had to lie down, and then the tank drove over, you know, in between the tracks. There's enough room underneath, so you know. Wow. You know, we will be. Is that on? So all of this stuff. So you know, so the idea is let's have a good time. This is not a stiff event by any means. It's all very relaxing, and the idea is that we have a good time.
Hey, Arnold,
okay, and then yeah.
Where did you keep your weights?
Oh yeah.
I saw that documentary on TV.
So this here is normally the tool case, where the tools go in. So when you have any repairs to be made, you have the tools right in here. But I took my tools out and gave it to my buddy on the next tank, because I wanted to put my dumbbells and my barbells and plates and bars and collapsible bench in these toolboxes here on both of the sides. And so what that enabled me to do is that when we were maneuver, if we were in the military, in the barracks, it didn't matter because they had a place to work out anyway. But when we were in maneuver, then it's 3 weeks sometimes at a time, you had no contact with the outside world. So what we did was, when we were finished driving the tank, let's say at 7 at night, then I would go and we all park our tanks and, you know, dig a hole where we sleep under the tank. You know, you dig a hole that deep and around 8 feet long, and then you drive the tank over and you sleep underneath. It's nice and warm, and you have the blanket there and all this stuff, and you're protected from the wild boar out there and all this that are roaming around out there in the field. But so as soon as I was finished driving the tank, we put out the weights. Our team of 5 guys. There's usually 5 people in a tank, and we would work out for 2 hours. And we would have the squats up to 100 kilo, which is 220 pounds, and we would help each other, the bar up and the back, and then we would be doing squats for an hour. Then we were doing bench press and flies. We would have the bench there, and we just exercise, and this keeps us in shape because I was, you know, in the military from the age 18 to 19. And then as soon as I was finished with the military, I wanted to compete in the Mr. Universe contest. I had to be in top shape. I had only 2 more months left after I got out of the military to train and to get ready for the Mr. Universe contest in London. So this was one of the ways of keeping me in shape, and it was free weights, and we had a great time doing it, and the military was very supportive of this kind of practice. Hey, how are you? Yeah, good to see you. So who do we all have here?
Hi.
Hey, how are you?
Pleasure.
Good to see you. Hey, how are you? Good to see you. Hello, how are you?
Kale, it's a pleasure.
Hey,
Silas.
Hey.
Hi, Devin. Nice to meet you.
Dave, good to see you.
Sure. Sure. Nice to meet you. Jim. Jimmy. Good to meet you.
Hi, Sarah.
Yeah.
You're good up there. Renault, bring the ladder over.
Good looking group. You like this?
Yeah, thumbs up.
Everybody right here.
All right, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, how are you? Good to see you.
Oh, that's great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Could you high five me in our photo?
Sure.
Oh, that's perfect. Thank you. Very nice.
Thank you so much. This has been incredible. Thank you. My pleasure.
Thanks so much. This
Hey.
is really amazing.
And we have one more. Thank you.
Thank you.
It was hilarious.
And I think there was a ranch.
Okay.